I mean this with absolute disrespect. I know you don't know what a theory is. And if you do, no you don't.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be looking into Septum Ring Theory. This is something that's been going around on TikTok for a little while now, and the liberal women that wear septum rings have finally started picking up their cameras and saying, what the hell is this septum ring theory you guys keep leaving in my comments? What are you guys talking about? What do you mean by this? So we're going to look a little bit into septum ring theory, so get ready to see a lot of bull rings. Let's get into it.
I saw a really funny tweet today where a conservative man said that septum rings are ugly and all men find them ugly. They're not for you. They're actually for me. They're for my gaze as a lesbian. They are for the gays, and even for bisexual women, they are specifically telling you that they do not want you to find them attractive. Shocking, I know. Some of y'all, actually all of y'all, are the ugliest people I've ever seen. No woman wants you to find them attractive. And if this is a surefire way of y'all stop talking to us, anyway, if you have a septum piercing, my DMs are that way.
Something people do not tell you when you have a big ass septum is that when you kiss people who have not kissed you before, they're going to dodge your septum. I'm sorry to break it to you. You can't dodge it. No matter. I'm sorry, you can't. It's gonna be there and you're gonna feel it. But I like it. I like that I can feel my septum when I'm kissing somebody on the lips.
I just found out what the septum theory is, and I don't like y'all for that. Because why you want to bring that up? Huh? Back in my day, when we were trying to shit talk about people like that, you know, they wore a single earring, a black bracelet on the left side, whatever. Anything that stood out. You're gay or you like it in a butt. Keep it simple. Y'all are complicating shit. Stop it.
Good morning. If it is illegal to be homeless, then all housing should be free.
I just read a comment from a maggot. They said that the septum ring theory or whatever, the rule is that no matter who has it is just mentally unwell. I may not be the exception to this rule, but that doesn't make it true. In case you haven't noticed, this is literally just a piece of jewelry. No different than like an earring. Not everyone that has a septum ring is mentally unwell. In fact, I know a lot of people that don't have any facial jewelry that are incredibly mentally unwell.
If you're a septum ring haver and someone compares your septum ring to a bull ring, here's how to make them so uncomfortable they will never make that comparison ever again. About 7 years ago on Reddit, a Redditor made tacos from his own foot. It really gives a new meaning to putting your own foot in your mouth. He got in a motorcycle accident and shattered the bones in his foot, and it needed to be amputated. So after the amputation, he requested to keep the foot, and the surgeon gave it to him for some reason. And then he went home and he decided to make foot tacos. He invited his friends over to partake in this meal, like the Last Supper or something. Anyways, he fried up the meat and told us all what he tasted like, which he said was a lot like beef. Surprising to me because I always heard that we taste more like pork, but he said it was all like beef or buffalo, very fatty, but very beefy. So next time someone tells you you look like an animal that they would eat, tell them the story, and they will never say it again. I guarantee it.
That's not true at all. I don't know why you thought that would work. I'll say right now, your septum ring looks like a bull ring. It looks like you're part of a herd. But this is just proving the septum ring theory. Now, the thing is, people are talking about, oh, what is septum ring theory? It's an obvious indicator that you're extremely woke. That's what the septum ring says. There is the rare occasion of somebody who wears a septum piercing that doesn't even lean left, but chances are, If one of you guys has that ring in your nose or those devil horns hanging out of your nose, we already know that it's all about bodily autonomy. We already know that it's all about free housing. We already know that it's all about healthcare for all. We already know that it's all about socialism. We already know that it's all about I don't want to work. I want the government to be my baby daddy and just send me checks every month while I sit at home and use EBT cards to buy junk food and play on TikTok all day. And virtue signal to the rest of the world about how empathetic I am and how good of a person I am and how terrible Donald Trump is. And I think you guys are getting the point. That's what septum ring theory is. You guys are all the same. It's not only that most of you don't use critical thought, it's that you don't even seem to have independent thought. It's almost like a herd mentality, like a hive mind. And not to be mean, but most of you just don't seem to be the sharpest knife in the drawer. I mean, take this girl, for example, here. She was absolutely convinced. When she said the next time that somebody says your septum ring looks like a bull ring, just tell them this story that I read on Reddit 7 years ago about a guy who fried up his own foot and ate tacos and said it tastes more like beef. I always thought it tasted like pork. No, it's actually a lot like beef. It was actually pretty fatty. Tell that to somebody next time and they'll never say that about your septum piercing ever again.
Okay, unpopular opinion, but I look terrible without it. And just to prove a point, I'm gonna take it out. I literally hate doing this, but I need y'all to see the truth. I'm already so scared. And before you're like, Zoe, you're being so dramatic. I promise to you, I look like a Who from Whoville. I literally don't even want to show you guys. Like, who is that? Why is my nose so tiny? How could you seriously think this is the better alternative? My nose is so short. The gap between my top lip and my nose is awful. I literally... Bye.
Yeah, it's a piece of metal that I can take out of my face at any time, but can you bring the light back into your mother's eyes? Can you hop on Ancestry.com without finding something concerning about your parents? Perhaps that the first time they ever had a little finger fun, it was under the table at the family reunion? A lot of people have been calling me ugly for the past 24 hours, and I can't help but notice that they either don't have profile pictures, or they do. And when it comes to the ones with profile pictures, I mean, buddy, mi familia. You want to talk about genes? Well, if I'm ugly, baby, we're related. Just like your parents. As a comedian, being ugly is one of God's few but delectable gifts. Though I don't know, I don't think being ugly helps you rotate tires at AutoZone, so the rest of you might be out of luck.
All leftists look the same. Yeah, babe, it's because we want you to know, okay? I put the septum ring on and I said, everybody is going to be able to identify me as a leftist. Yeah. And newsflash, baby, we know a Republican when we see one too. Unfortunately, it's not a piece of jewelry. It's absolutely zero effort into your physical appearance whatsoever. That's how I know. Find me a fun, stylish, personalized Republican, please. What? No, but everything I do is for men. I have to take this out right now. Thank God you commented this or I never would have known. Just kidding, I don't care.
How does me having a septum piercing affect somebody else? Listen, yeah, the septum piercing is a queer uniform, and ain't nothing you're gonna do about it. And it looks fucking great. You know when I got my septum piercing, I thought I was the baddest bitch on this earth. Period. I'm over it now because when you first get it, it's like, oh my god.
Let's talk about septum rings and this conservative, weird MAGA septum ring theory, okay? So let's start off by talking about the people that have this septum ring theory, right? It's MAGA people, super conservative, super far-right people that have this weird theory that if you have a septum ring, that it means that you're stupid or crazy or something. I don't even really understand what their original theory is, but they really don't like these. So in this video, we're going to talk about the history of septum rings, the cultural significances to different tribes, different countries, and I think that that's going to make it a lot more clear why these types of people have a theory about septum rings. Because let's just start off by saying none of these cultures who have had septum rings in their history are white cultures, okay? Starting there. So we'll start here with an overall history that they've been used as symbols of status, rites of passage, as well as intimidation factors in war. Septum rings have been found on mummies all the way back to 3500 BC. They are one of the oldest, if not the oldest, form of body modification that exists. Now, this one is really metal. You know, this culture would make them out of actual bones, sometimes the bones of their actual enemies. So metal. I love it. And here we got another one where they're being viewed as a sign of status and strength. And even that tribe at the bottom there who literally named themselves after the piercing, their whole tribe. And then in India, we have them as a sign of marital status, of commitment to your partner. And that's a really beautiful and important significance to the people of that culture. And you would think these MAGA people would like that, don't you think? Because they love marriage. They like people being married. Unless you're gay. And this concept of warrior culture is the only one that I would say is like really consistent throughout every culture. Is they've been used as a sign of intimidation if you are on the battlefield. So I'm just going to leave this summary up here as I finish my thesis. Okay. All of these cultures are not white, right? Not white. So there's 3 things happening here with the septum ring theory, in my opinion. 1, maybe they just literally have no idea that they're that old and that people have been wearing them and that they have that much cultural and spiritual significance. 2, they do know all of that stuff. They do know about it, and they just are pretending like they don't. And making fun of anyone that doesn't agree with them that has a septum piercing and saying that you're dumb for it. And the third, and probably most obvious to everyone, is just that it's not traditional, right? It's a little bit different. It's a little bit avant-garde. There are some jobs that would make you take a septum ring out, you know, even though it has nothing to do with your performance at your job. It is something that is considered outside the norm, and they're just little sheeples. So I'll leave you all with that. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Okay, so I paused it as she just pulled up the first tribal culture history thing, and she's already proven the septum ring theory. And how did she do that? She's saying the same thing that every other girl that wears a septum ring talking about MAGA, using the exact same words that they do. And that's 3 things so far. MAGA people, that's a tell right there, that they hate these things. No, MAGA does not hate people that are far-right extremists. Apparently those are the only ones that have a problem with your septum piercing. It's not them, it's people with common sense can just tell. As I just explained before, they can tell that you're woke because you're wearing it. It's not that we hate it. It doesn't look very good, but that's your own personal choice. If it makes you feel prettier, go for it. I think it looks absolutely ridiculous on men, but no way do we hate it. That's a strong word. We don't hate it. It's just an obvious tell. That's why people say septum ring theory to you. It's either you're saying something super woke in one of your videos, you're proving a point, you're being extremely progressive, or you're being a complete radical leftist. Just something that screams, hey, I'm a super liberal. I'm all about being empathetic. I'm all about going out to protest. I want to wear 5 masks on my face when I have the flu. And again, proving the point before she even got to her first culture. She's got a septum ring on and she's already talking about, well, you know, the thing is that why chances are MAGA doesn't like them, because this comes from like tribes and none of them are white. So you're assuming that MAGA is just a bunch of racists. And do you know why? Because you've been told to think this. You've been propagandized. Your brain has been programmed. Septum ring theory. Okay, second pause break. I just went through all the different cultures that she pulled up, and now she's going to leave it up there while she continues her thesis. That's where I'm at right now. But one thing I would just like to point out is all these cultures, thank you for, doing this research and pointing them out to us, but you have nothing to do with any of these cultures. Like, we're not denying that septum piercings have been a thing, that they've been around. We're not saying that, hey, liberal women created septum piercings. That's not what we're saying. You're trying to point it out and kind of put it like in comparison, like, see, people have been doing this for generations. That's why we're doing it. No, you're not a tribal warrior. You're not doing it as a symbol of marriage. You don't have a bone through your nose to symbolize strength. This has got nothing to do with, I guess, your liberal woman culture at all. And even if you are trying to put yourself up side by side with these cultures of the past that did have septum piercings and have bones through their nose, and some of them actually did have like jewelry through their nose, I believe in India. But let's be honest, besides the Indian culture, you're talking about more or less like ancient tribes. Some of them possibly, not saying for sure, some of them possibly even could have been cannibalistic. You're talking about uncivilized people of the past, people that do not live in a civilized nation. So it doesn't really prove your point as to why you guys would want to wear your septum piercing. Again, I'm unsure as to why this history was pulled out for us. We were never in denial that septum piercings were a thing of the past. We're never in denial that they've always kind of been around. What we're trying to point out, it just seems like as soon as you go woke, there's a septum piercing in the nose. What we are trying to point out goes right back to the beginning of your video. It has to do with being a little woke, a little delusional, a little bit crazy. It's a clear indicator. We already know what your worldview is. We can read you like a book. Most of you. Maybe not all of you, but most of you. The septum ring is a massive indicator. Okay, in closing, we're just gonna touch on her three theories here. 1, maybe we didn't know it was that old. Yeah, we knew it was that old. 2, we do know about all that stuff. We knew that it's already been out there before, but we're just pretending like we never knew it was. No, that's kind of just goes with your 1. We've never denied that septum rings have always been kind of around. 3rd and most obvious is probably just that it's not traditional. You know what? That was a good one. I didn't really expect that one there. I can see why maybe some people wouldn't like it because, yeah, if they're into more of like the whole traditional marriage, traditional woman, whatnot, maybe that would be it. But again, from my personal view, for any liberal out there, septum ring theory, it has nothing to do when it comes to traditional values or anything like that. It's just, it's like holding up a sign, like saying I'm a far left liberal. That's exactly what it says. Oh, and then right at the end, she says they're just little sheeples. I'm sorry, that's exactly what we're trying to point out here. That's why we call it a bull ring. It represents a herd animal. It represents, in turn, as she just tried to use on us, sheeple.
Theory this, septum theory. Y'all, I heard of this new theory that I think y'all should hop on. Leave people alone theory. I don't know. It's kind of hard, in my humble opinion. You people will call anything a theory, and I'm so tired of it. A girl could shit her pants, and you guys would call it the baggy jeans theory. Someone could dye their hair for self-expression, and y'all pull out the dyed hair theory. Oh, everyone who dyes their hair has had their heart broken and they're mentally ill. How about this? Guys, hear me out. The go outside and touch grass theory. I didn't get this piercing because I'm mentally ill. No, I got a big nose. This shit saved me. Y'all wanna see a jump scare? Let's stop psychoanalyzing every single person on this app and leave that shit to the professionals. Let people live their lives. Let people self-express however they want for whatever reason they want, okay? Okay. Be a good talk.
I've seen a wild uptick in people just sharing basic information or sharing their own personal experiences, and it's being atrociously met with septum ring theory, septum ring theory, septum ring. You're using an internet theory to prove that people make everything about themselves who have a septum ring, and then comment it under every video of a person with a septum ring, despite what they're talking about. We can't share personal experiences anymore? We can't share basic facts anymore? Because you're just going to see the way I look, dislike it, and say, no, you're wrong. That's quite literally not how this works. And there quite literally cannot be any other goal in mind other than devaluing basic facts and people's personal experiences. Like, that's not an opinion. You can't argue about that.
Can somebody explain to me why KevStar085 doesn't understand the concept that everyone's going to wear things that they like and you don't have to like it for them to wear it?
You're absolutely correct. And in fact, I have 4 separate rings in my septum, and I get a new one every time I ruin a man's life.
If you're a girl with a septum piercing and you have a date with a guy this week, take the septum ring out. I think I speak for all guys when I say, if you wear that on the date, it's going to send the wrong message. The message being, if you're capable of piercing your septum, you're capable of piercing a man's heart. You're capable of destroying him emotionally and ruining his life. Because the moment he sees you on the date at the wine bar Melody in Silver Lake, he'll know that he can never be enough. You got to be a certain type of guy to date a girl with a septum piercing. You got to be a guy like me.
Okay, so I know you thought you ate, but you're, oh my,
You don't know anything. Okay, so a theory in science is actually something that has so much evidence. It has so much already evidence that it can be proven. That then it makes it a theory. It becomes a theory after it is proven. You guys very obviously don't know what a theory is, and it makes me wanna scream because you think that you're smart and that you eat with your jokes. But in reality, I'm like, can you go look it up so that I don't have to explain it to you?
And you guys really had an issue with Donald Trump wanting to restructure the education system. You guys really fought for that. You guys have put yourself in all sorts of debt, all sorts of school loan debt. Again, you know, I kind of like take little pokes at some of the degrees you guys go after. I know I say like cucumbers, butterflies, and tomatoes and stuff, but a lot of you have went after like, you know, gender studies, sociology, becoming teachers yourselves. That's kind of the scary one right there. But let's just clear this up here. I mean, right at the end, she's saying, could you guys maybe look this up so I shouldn't have to tell you? I think that she really should have looked it up before she told them. It's called theory for a reason. If you look up the actual definition of theory, it does make it very substantial. Like you're almost there. It's almost proven. It's plausible. That's a good theory. If theory is something that's been proven, like they had enough evidence to prove it, and that's why it's called a theory. What's the word fact mean then? What's a fact? How come we have the saying that it's no longer a conspiracy theory, it has now become a conspiracy fact? Why is it called the Big Bang Theory and not the Big Bang Fact? Because scientists have absolutely no way of proving how the universe began. So they kind of copped out, in my opinion, guys. They kind of copped out. They're like, you know what? I have no explanation. I definitely don't want to accept that God had any way to do with this. Everything is going to be done by science. Because you know, one thing I do find fishy, guys, well, you know, not to get on a religious kick here, but people that are religious, they make room for science in their lives as well. But people that are 100% science, that's it. It's 100%. There's no room for God. So when it comes to the Big Bang Theory, it's like, shit, damn, I don't know. God, no, you know what? Just poof, it just all came one day. And they called it the Big Bang Theory. But the point is, the word theory is attached to it because they know there's no way they can prove it to an absolute. It'll always remain as a theory. There's no way they can ever label it as a fact. So I'm actually quite disappointed here because you guys are supposed to be highly educated, critical thinkers and pattern, you know, all that other good stuff. And you really can't explain the difference between the word theory and fact. You guys are truly thinking that theory is proven fact? I know not all of you liberals. I know there's no way on earth. I'm sure, you know, like I've had moments where I watch somebody who's a MAGA person, as you call them, try and say something else like a gotcha moment, and I'm kind of holding my forehead like, oh my God, and you didn't even spell it right either. It's embarrassing. And that's what you liberals just had to sit through with this poor young lady here.
The internet is a wild place. Apparently, the septum ring theory is you have made your trauma your entire personality trait just because you have your septum pierced. Now, I got mine pierced 18 years ago when I was 18 years old because I thought it was cool. End of story. I stretched it because I, again, thought that looked cool. Did I do it because of my trauma? No. I don't even talk about my trauma because it's no one's business. So, anyway, that's what I have gathered on the septum ring theory.
The septum ring theory is the theory that crusty men that think splashing water on their faces is an acceptable way to wash their face and have never heard of exfoliating will type septum ring theory in your comment section because they want you to know that they don't find you attractive now. Thank you for that. I was hoping that you didn't find me attractive anymore. And no, I'm not going to explain to you what exfoliating is.
I just looked up what septum ring theory is, and I've seen it on a few comments on my videos before. It's not new. I never really knew exactly what it meant, so I finally had to look it up. And that's it. If you're trying to talk some shit, just fucking say it. What are you doing? You and your buddies got together and made up some fucking code word that you guys could say, and only you would know what it means in the comments, and you could look around. Oh, he gets it. Just say it. It's TikTok. There couldn't be anything stupider than a bunch of incels creating a code word. And the code word is just that people with a septum ring have a personality? Am I not understanding something here? Just say it with your fucking chest. I legitimately can't imagine a bigger waste of time than going on to people's videos and saying Septum Ring Theory.
America, please get me out of this place. I'm tired. I'm losing my shit.
Right.
Tired. I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired.
Septum theory is not a theory. It is a fact. It's septum facts. I was just talking about this morning too. Women with septum piercings have mental issues. She didn't get that because she was mentally sound, because she thought it would make her feel more confident in herself to improve her life in any way. She got it because she's insane. Leave the septum pierced girls alone. It ain't even that hard. It doesn't even look good. There is a direct correlation between mental instability and a septum piercing. It's just the precursor to face tats. Have you ever seen someone with face tats and thought, well, they look like they'd make for a great friend or employee? No! Stay away from the septum pierced girls.
Here's all I have to say about the septum ring theory. I find it about as insulting as if somebody told me that I look like I own a cat. Like, yeah, I do. My cat's name is Theodore, because of course it is. But I was thinking about the septum ring theory and how everybody who sees someone with a septum ring has the same assumptions. And for some reason, the assumptions are always something like she's gonna be super liberal or super leftist or like bi. Because it's like, well, yeah. And you say that like it's supposed to insult me. You say that like it's supposed to hurt my feelers. It doesn't. You know why? Because I don't think those are bad things. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing that I think that immigrants should get due process and that we should all have equal rights when it comes to healthcare and reproductive health, and everybody should get a choice when it comes to their own body, and that we should have free education and medical care. Like, sue me. I know you said it in a negative tone, but I don't think those are bad things. Just like I don't think it's bad that I have a septum ring and you think I look like a bull. Because I literally don't give a shit. I think it makes me look cool. And it lets me know that whoever doesn't like the septum ring is someone I don't want to be friends with anyway. If you have an opinion about septum rings, I want to hear more of your opinions so I know which opinion to form about you. Because, girl, the things that you will let just fall out of your mouth is insane. I wonder if ChatGPT knows I have a septum ring in one of my old threads, so it kind of knew my personality and knew my thoughts and opinions on things. And I said, I want you to describe what you think I look like. And it said I had a septum ring.
Septum ring theory. I mean, she just laid it all out on the table. She checkbox after checkbox. ChatGPT knew that she wore a septum piercing. I mean, it's really not hard to understand. I'm really hoping that if any liberals come across this video and they watch it, that I can help clear this up for them. I personally myself, maybe some other people look at it the other way when it comes to the whole trauma theory. Again, theory. I look at it more like it's an obvious indicator. I can pretty much read you like a book just because you have that thing hanging out of your nose, especially the big ones like the chandeliers. It's always the older women that want to wear those. Just to give you guys some inside information on what some of the other obvious indicators are that we look out for. It has to do with the colored hair, the baby bangs, the gigantic glasses, especially if they're like the little cat glasses, you know, the ones that have like the points sticking out the top, or the ones that are shaped like stop signs. And a massive indicator that screams to us that this person's crazy is when you guys do that gigantic eyeball thing. And you know, everybody's gonna do it on a natural. When you're really trying to express something, you're gonna open up your eyes wide. But the thing is, when you guys are talking and when you guys are trying to get your point across, you'll do it like 10 times in 30 seconds. And it's pretty creepy. It's an obvious sign of mental instability. So that's one thing I would suggest that you guys maybe keep an eye out for, because that's got nothing to do. That's not like a personal choice. That's not body art or anything. You guys are looking at it like, hey, well, I decided to get this piercing because I like it. I decided to color my hair this way because I like it. The gigantic eyeball popping open thing, you're probably not even aware that you do it, but it's a massive tell, and people know right away like, uh-oh, there's no getting through to this one. And that's really it. It's got nothing to do with, hey, MAGA hates septum piercings. It's really got nothing to do with hate at all. We actually find it quite entertaining. We like to poke at you guys about it. This is why people are putting septum ring theory in the comments of your videos, is because you're saying something that's super woke. You're saying something that's super progressive, or you're just bashing on Donald Trump. It's all in part and in good fun of internet political banter. But this young lady here, she pretty much will said it all. There's really not much else for me to add. Again, it was checkmark after checkmark after checkmark. She covered every single area. As I was watching this clip for the first time, I was like, holy shit, she's just gonna do all the talking for me. So with that being said, I believe we're done here. All right, guys, that is it for this one. If you guys are new to the channel and you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. If not, if you can like the video, share the video, pass it around, interact with it in one way or another. Of course, I still do have one more clip lined up for you guys, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys.
She believes in equality, unless you bring up the military draft. Accountability is her kryptonite. Therapists call her a walking gold mine. She thinks sleeping with dozens of men empowers her, and even the men she sleeps with agree. She shouts her abortions, and let's just say she shouts a lot. She's a happiness coach, even though she's miserable. She was taught there's over 70 genders in college, and it costs tens of thousands of dollars to learn. She self-diagnoses and likes telling everyone about it. She hates when men objectify women's bodies, but for $4.99 a month, you can objectify hers. She calls herself a boss-ass bitch. Others just call her a bossy bitch. She has a lot of cats, but not nearly as many as she will have. She has a dad, but she doesn't really talk to him. He doesn't think we live in World War II Germany. No, she thinks we live in an even worse time and place. She nags to go on podcasts to debate, and then sues them when she loses. Her OnlyFans is worth less than a McDonald's breakfast. She likes black men until they display misogyny. Then she calls the cops, who are all bastards, by the way. She is the most feminist woman in the world.